Well, hello everybody. We have taped this. We're about to tape something here. Lucio Deveer. First off, I know we couldn't get this in last week, so I do want to take a minute and just thank you for joining me here today.
You're welcome, I think. A little unsure still. I think all it is you trying to make me look like a bad parent. And I think anyone that knows Lucio Deveer knows I'm the best parent in the world. Always looking out for Malachi, always looking out for his best interest. So I'm up for doing this, but not if it's just going to be you trying to make me look bad.
I just have questions. That's it. Let's go ahead and jump right into them. I have a bunch of them wrote up here. So first and foremost, tell me about Malachi Gage growing up.
Malachi, he's one of a kind. As a youngster, when he was a little tot, he was great. He was the best kid anyone could ever ask for. Then he started getting older and he wanted to do his own thing. He was too good for me. He wouldn't listen. So I had to be strict. I had to practice tough love. I had to do whatever it took to show him I wanted him to be the absolute best.
What does that mean, strict?
Strict. There's rules to follow, and when you don't follow the rules, there's punishments.
Tell me about that punishment.
Well, punishments were, I made him work hard. He could be out in the garden all day picking rocks. Or if he didn't do that well enough, then I'd make him work out all day, do push-ups, sit-ups, anything that it took to be the absolute best. I was always pushing him.
Okay, well that's interesting. You mentioned last week, you talked about push-ups and picking rocks. You also mentioned last week that when he was in sports, you would take time and get in the coaches' faces, yell at the coaches if he wasn't getting enough playing time. Generally, that's sort of looked at by the general public as somebody that's maybe not a good father, somebody that's overbearing and trying to force their will upon their child.
I see it a lot differently. I think that makes me a great father. I'm looking out for him. He should be the star. He should be the main attraction. He should have been getting all the attention. And if the coaches didn't think he was good enough, I told them what was right. I made sure they were putting him in as much as possible. I think, how does that make me a bad father? I mean, you're a parent, you know what it's like to want the best for your kid, and I wanted the best, and I pushed him to be the best, and I always have. And if people didn't agree, I told them what was right.
Okay, well, I mean, right now, I'm looking in your face, and every time I bring up his name, Malachi Gage, you have such a look of disgust. That's your son, man. That's your son. Why is that your tone? Why is that your look on your face right now?
Yeah, he is my son. But I was the one that had to tell everyone that I'm his father. He's too good for me. He's too ashamed to ever mention. All he wants to say about is being from the circus. What about being proud to be my son? He's too good to be my son, he thinks. He wants to do his own thing and live by his own rules. So how am I not supposed to feel disgusted? How am I not supposed to feel disrespected as a parent?
Well, disrespect. Let's talk about respect. Let's talk about pride. Was there ever a moment whenever, at 18 years old, 17 years old, he decided he was going to follow in your footsteps and become a professional wrestler on his own?
He lived around the business. He grew up around the business. So of course he followed it. And I wanted to be proud of him. I wanted to be. But he was too good for me. He, as usual, wanted to do his own thing like he always does. He didn't want to listen to me. He thought he could learn from people like you know better than me. I've been in this business almost 19 years. He should have come to me first. I should have been his teacher. I should have been the one telling them the right ways to do everything. But he wanted to do his own thing.
Did you ever think he just wanted to be his own man and go his own way? I don't think that's necessarily disrespect. I think that's just trying to carve out your own niche.
I'm all about people being independent and looking out for themselves. But when it comes to a parent, and when it comes to a parent and a son's relationship, flesh and blood, he should want to be like me. I've set a perfect example. I've been a great role model, but I wasn't good enough for him. So I feel disrespected in that way. I feel insulted that I wasn't good enough. That regardless of whether he wants to be independent or not, he should have followed in my footsteps and did it my way.
Much later, much more recently, in fact, earlier just this year, prior to that, he had a very successful tag team with the Alpha Rick Matthews. Alpha Rick Matthews goes down to a bicep tear, and immediately you sort of jump on Malachi's back, and you're saying, I should be your partner, I should be your partner. Knowing everything that we know now, where we're at today, was any of that real? Did you really want to be his partner, or were you just setting him up for disaster?
No, I meant every bit of it. Even if he has disobeyed me, he was still my son. But I knew I could teach him better. They were a mediocre tag team. They weren't bad, but he could have been great. As a tag team with me, I could have taught him to be so much better, to be part of the greatest tag team in professional wrestling history. So I wanted to teach him the right ways. I wanted to show him what it's like to be the best, to be in a great team.
So this kid, this man, worked hard on his own, earned himself a heavyweight title shot. In that match, you set him up. You tricked him. You smashed him in the face with that hammer and cost him the heavyweight title. What kind of father does that?
I gave him what he deserves. That's what he got for not listening to me. And when we face each other again, Saturday, December 10th, he's going to get that and so much more. I took what should be rightfully mine. I took that mallet, and there's nothing he or anyone else can do about it. He might have earned his way up to the top, but he didn't do it the right way. He didn't follow me. So I showed my own brand of tough love.
Final question. What kind of match should we expect in the I Quit match on December 10th?
Saturday, December 10th, I Quit match. It will go down in history. Violence. There will be a lot of violence, and there's no rules. Nothing the refs say or do, nothing anyone does can put a stop to the match. I can do whatever I want, and the only way to end it is for me to say I quit, which everyone knows is never going to happen. I've never quit, I never will. But I will make him say, not I quit, but Father knows best. I will make him recognize that I am the greatest father in the world, and he needs to follow in my footsteps. He needs to be more like me. And if it takes beating the crap out of him in the ring, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'll use whatever weapons or brand of violence I wanna do, and there's nothing you or anyone can do about it.